So, the restoration of Seafire, where do we begin? Well, I've asked myself this question many times over winter whilst I've been cleaning it out, because there's so much to do. But it has to be done in some kind of order, and I think the most sensible thing is to start with making it waterproof so that it's actually pleasant to be on board, because throughout the winter it was extremely difficult to get on board the vessel. There was water pouring in, the bilges were filling up, it was freezing cold, it was impossible to heat because there's wind blowing straight through it. So I think first thing we just need to make it weathertight, and then we can look at everything else over the next winter. I'm a man who lives my life by lists. I'm incredibly busy, I don't have a great deal of time for anything, so lists make me productive. So here is the first of many lists. So let's get on with the first job, the deck drains. Okay, so what we've actually discovered here, I was expecting to have to cut this panel out, but the actual vertical panel is fine. It's pitted a bit around the step, but that's not going to matter. We can filler that. So we're just going to treat that with some Fertan, brush it back and prime it. And then later we can filler that and paint it. But what is knackered is the step. The step is completely perforated. There's holes all the way through it, so that's coming off. And when I put a replacement step in, we'll put a step that comes from side to side, so I can weld it down all three sort of edges, sides, so that's a lot more stable to stand on going forwards. But overall, that vertical panel was not too bad. So we'll have a little clean up here, and then we'll get a grinder to cut that step off. It's pretty good. Right. Let's cut that off flush. So now we can go and drill it through with that cone cutter, and then we can weld the new fitting in. Stupid bloody thing. Completely useless. process. Needs to go in the bin. Okay, so we drilled that hole out large enough to take the deck fitting. We're using stainless steel deck fittings because I don't want any dramas with them rusting out again. So I know you're not supposed to mix metals, but it's not going to make any difference right where this is. So we're going to weld that in there flush with the surface of the deck. So I've just got this bolt and this piece of metal here so that we can hold it level with the surface whilst we weld it. Now, this is going to be fun. Okay, so that's plenty good enough for what we're trying to achieve here. Grind that back. We'll smooth that with filler when we come to finish it, but for now I'm just going to spray some rust converter onto this surface. I use a product called Fertan. There are other products for different applications, but for this one I think Fertan will be brilliant. That'll just convert that into a black oxide overnight and protect it against rust for a number of weeks or months. I may put some primer on it, but we'll see. We might not need to do that at this stage. Right, so now for the rust treatment of this, we're just going to spray on some Fertan. It's just like a brown watery liquid, and overnight that will convert this rust into a black oxide layer, which doesn't require any further treatment immediately. That will repel water and protect this steel for some weeks. So let's get this on. This is a harmless product, so I can just rub it in with my fingers to make sure we've covered everything. Okay, now Fertan doesn't treat clean metal, it only treats rust, so the clean metal will go on to rust, and then we'll treat that once it's rusted. But for now, that's finished for today. Okay, so we're inside now. We need to make the hole to drain that outside. Now we've got one hole down here. That is the gas drain, but that doesn't function at all because it's below the water line. It's completely useless. So I've measured that these need to be raised 5 inches above the top of that pipe. So we marked 5 inches there, and now we're going to use a laser level to get that level across here. And yes, I have leveled the boat on its stand, so the boat is level. So we'll bring that level across and then we'll match it up to the fitting at the top with the laser too. Now, I think we'll leave the stainless poking out just about 5mm. That way it's not going to be contaminated by the mild steel, which the mild steel is the weld, and that'll all be encapsulated in the epoxy, so we'll have a clean stainless run all the way through to outside. Again, let's just tack weld this. Okay, we're just going to put a bit of acid etch primer on this just to protect it temporarily. We'll grind all this off when we finish the outside of the boat later on. Ooh. Nasty. Beautiful. Okay, so back inside the boat. We're just going to connect this up now so that it drains overboard. We don't get any surprise if it rains this evening. So we're using brass fittings to go onto these 316 stainless deck fittings. Again, avoiding anything that rusts because it'll only discolour the paintwork and block the tubes. So screw that on there. Going to use some stud lock on these. I don't much like PTFE because it can come loose and cause surprises. Another day. So here we are, in case we couldn't see from the angle that the camera was at. This is the finished deck drain. Stainless fitting coming in from outside, brass connector, stainless clip, some clear tubes so that we can see what's in it if we get blockages later on. Coming down to the same at the bottom but with an elbow, so it keeps the whole assembly quite close to the hole, so it doesn't take up too much space in here once we start to panel it out. Well, today is another day down on the farm. What a beautiful day it is too. So yesterday we cleaned up this panel, and this is what the Fertan does overnight. It just goes jet black, and it's a jet black powder. It's not sticky at all, so we just need to brush that off now, and that will protect that until we're ready to fill and paint it. But we're probably going to be doing some more work to that before we get to that point, putting a step in and everything else. But the deck drain is in place. That looks really good. And what I did do after I stopped filming yesterday, really because I couldn't be bothered to film the other side, I did this side too. So we've done that exactly the same. That one was a bit different. Again, got some pitting around the step, but we've also got a hole all the way through it there, so I need to grind that out and put a little patch of steel in there to tidy that up. We still need to do the welding on this side, so we'll get on with that today. So we're just going to carry on with this side now, do exactly the same as what we did on the other side. This side's a little bit worse on the bottom. If we look, we can see the daylight straight through the fitting, up through the deck, through the sides of the fitting, so that's no good. And the drain is sort of over here. It's not directly down. I don't like that because it can create sort of flat spots in the pipe where stuff can settle, so we don't want that. We're just going to make that vertical, the same as the other one, and just bung that hole up when we're ready to do so. Okay, so we've done the welding and the treatment on the outside. We've connected in the two fittings on this side, just the same as the other side. And now we're going to connect up the drain hose on this side as well. Now, the old hose that we took off of that, it's a load of crap, but it's good enough to produce a couple of protective rubbers to go between the hose and these stringers. So I'm just going to cut a couple of pieces of this to put behind that. We'll cable tie them on later when I've got some cable ties. Take the cleanest part. There. Beautiful. Put one on the other side as well. So now we have them on both sides. One there, and one there. That's the end of our first video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.